So picture this. You're in a particularly difficult job search and you are sending out your resumes. You're really trying and trying and trying to get that first job offer in the industry, and then finally it comes along. Somebody reaches out to you, they give you a job offer, and you're so thankful. You want to accept it really bad. In this video, I'm going to talk about the reasons why you should perhaps think twice about accepting the first job offer that comes around. Now, I'll tell you what really motivated me to really make this video, because I feel that it was really relevant. And if I were to go back in time and be in the position that a lot of you are that are watching this would have been, I would have made different decisions that would contribute to, perhaps finding a better employer, something that would help me for my career trajectory from the get-go. So let's take you back to 2020. So back in 2020, I graduated from the University of Ottawa with a degree in electrical engineering, right? And, it was during that time where COVID just started out, right? We had this virus coming out from China. Nobody knew too much about it. And then, everything started shutting down at that point. And I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to continue to work part-time as a lifeguard. And I did that for around 2 years or so. And I was really struggling to get a job offer from any company, right? At the beginning, I was very selective into what companies I would apply for. I would put cover letters. And then as the years started going by, about 2021, I started getting desperate, right? I just typed in engineer on Indeed and LinkedIn and all this different type of stuff. And I just kept hitting that apply button. Well, one day, and obviously I still work here, so I'm going to protect the privacy of the company. I get reached out to by this company, and then I go through the interview process, and they're asking me all these different questions. Like, to be honest, it was fairly unmemorable simply because of the fact that, it wasn't really an important company to me and stuff like that. And, it was basic behavioral questions. And then about 2 weeks later, they give me an offer. Now, so this is a company in the manufacturing industry, and manufacturing is not really an industry that ever popped up in my head, and something that I actually had a bad experience when I was at the Royal Canadian Mint, which was another manufacturing company. But because of the fact that I didn't have a job for 2 years, really clouded my judgments and really prevented me from thinking clearly, right? So that's why I'm making this video, right? Is because I want you guys to be very selective. And the reason for making this video is I want to show you the 3 questions that I should have asked in the interview in order to determine whether it was a good fit or not, right? So what's a first question that you should ask? You should ask your future manager what their management style actually is, right? Because here's the thing, there are many different types of management styles, and this is not a video about management styles and stuff like that, so I'm not going to go really into depth about that. But you want to see how they deal with subordinates, how they mentor people and stuff like that, right? So I'll give you an example. My boss right now, he's a very laissez-faire manager, which means he's very hands-off. He doesn't really get in your way and sets very vague goals, assuming that you meet it. But here's the problem. At least for me, this is not in a work environment. This is not like a management environment that works for me, personally, especially when I'm going into a really technical field like engineering, right? For me, I need that mentorship. I need somebody to give me, very defined goals that I need to accomplish, right? And a laissez-faire manager may or may not actually provide you with this, right? Another question that I would have asked in the interview process is, how do you give goals to your subordinates, right? What do you expect from them, right? In the first 3 months, the first 6 months, and the first 12 months, right? The reason for this is you want to get a gauge into if they have a plan for you in order to get you up to speed in the company, right? Because no matter how good of a developer you are, you're studying, you're, doing full stack, or you're doing mobile development, or you're doing, back end, when you're going into a real code base and you're going into like a production environment, it's going to be way different from you just like working on personal projects that haven't encountered scale issues and stuff like that. So that's why it's really important. And that's why you have a learning curve that you had to get up to speed in order for you to be competent enough to provide value to the company's organization, for you to have that self-confidence that you need in order to eventually make yourself a better developer, right? So if they can't answer this question, that's a big thing that tells them that they don't really have a plan for you and that you're just going to be thrown into the wolves and be asked to figure it out. Now, that's not to say that people who are entering the industry won't thrive in this sink and swim environment, which is what it's called. But, because one of my coworkers actually does really, really well in this particular environment, but I personally don't do very well in it, right? So obviously, that's ultimately up to you knowing yourself and, what your style of management will work best for you. But I personally like to have a plan in place on what I need to accomplish. And this also does another thing, right? So what this actually does for you is it helps you to establish to yourself, what am I looking to accomplish? What are my goals? And how are you going to get there? Now, the third thing that you should be asking is if you have, say, somebody that you can look up to, a senior person, somebody who's been in the company, in the industry, that can actually mentor you. Because, sometimes you're not given that. You're just like thrown into the wolves again and, asked to kind of figure it out for yourself, right? Now, while you can do that, this is not a question of if it's possible, but is it the best for you? Right? Because confidence has been a really big problem at my current position. And I think that if I asked these interview questions earlier in the process, I would have identified that, this job wasn't a fit for me. Now, that's good and all, right? You could ask the questions, but how do you get over the mindset block that, you're in a particularly difficult job search and you finally get that offer? How do you get the guts to say no to that? Well, one of the things that would really help if somebody was in my certain position beforehand is that, there is a right company out there for you, right? And you just had to continue to do the work. You had to continue to do the process, because the problem is if you accept a job offer that's not fit for your particular skill sets, your particular abilities, then you're going to be losing out on the opportunity cost of interviewing somewhere else, working on algorithms, working on personal projects that you could potentially put in to doing that and getting the job that you actually want, right? So I hope this video was helpful. It was kind of a video that been inspired by a lot of hard feedback that I got from work and just realization that the job just ain't for me. And I'm back on the job market and I'm actually preparing that. So look out for more videos on me and the job hunt and how that's going. But I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys do implement some of the advice that I have in this video, so that you can find a higher quality employer and not get bounded by the fact that you don't have a job yet. So my biggest advice as a conclusion here is to stay patient in the process, right? You have the belief that you will get a job offer, but it's just going to take time. And make sure you're thinking clearly and you're just not taking the first offer and really processing it and see if it's the right industry, the right manager, and the right company that's going to fit your career needs. Because at the end of the day, If you're building up good habits, that's actually going to help you out in the long run. So again, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support the channel here, and I'll see you in the next video.